Mr. Speaker, it appears as though we agree on certain things. We agree that some transparency is required. We certainly agree on a bipartisan basis that what the GAO did under Dodd-Frank, at a minimum, was a good thing. I think there's no question, my colleague who was here earlier, Mr. Frank, certainly would agree to the numbers, the expansion of the Fed in that period that Ms. Loomis talked about between 2008 and now. I think we would all agree the Federal Reserve is the people's bank. It is broadly owned by 316 or 320 million Americans. I served on the board of a public company, one that I founded. I understand that if you have more than 500 stockholders, you have an obligation to considerable disclosure. Although the Fed is audited to see whether basically some numbers are correct or not on a limited basis, the truth is the Federal Reserve is not open and transparent, not even years after they make decisions. I think the American people have a piercing question right now, one that is not the question that Dr. Paul was asking when he first wanted to audit the Fed. The question is, will we be like Greece? Will we be like Germany? Will we be like the trauma that's sweeping over the European Union? Do we in fact know the true numbers? Do we know the extent of the leverage and the policies and the accuracy and the knowledge of the Federal Reserve? I think calmly we have to ask that question. Do we know what we need to know, or are we willing to not know in hopes that we won't be political because we don't know? Now, I've been in Congress for 12 full years at the end of this term, and I've learned one thing. Congress has a tendency to do two things well: nothing at all and overreact. I trust today will be a day in which we're in between. I yield myself an additional minute.
Gentleman is recognized.
We would do something so that we would know more a year from now than we know today. We would not overreact. We would not want to stifle what the Fed has done historically without an awful lot more study. Changes to an entity like the central bank should be done thoughtfully and over time. My friend Dr. Paul would like to do more than this bill does. But this minimal effort offered on a bipartisan basis is offered today because we believe the American people have a right to know, an interest to know, and a need to know. With that, I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman's time is reserved. Gentleman from Maryland.